We're super excited to walk through who Meter is, what we do, how we do it, and get some feedback from you all. So, one of the first things I wanted to address is who Meter is. Then we'll go through some architecture and some demos directly. Those are the three big sections we have. The two people that are presenting is me and my brother, Sunil. We both started Meter about a decade ago. We're network engineers. As hopefully you'll get to see, we love networking just like you do. Um, And so, why did we start Meter? We started about a decade ago now. And one of the things we really care about is great products for hardware and software. And as engineers, we didn't feel like great products were being built in networking anymore. They had been good products, but kind of felt a little bit stagnant. And we wanted to have really great, high performing hardware, software, and combine them with operations to have a great product and a great service for IT and networking teams. And one of the things that's core to how we think about it is we think networking is cool again. Um, and everything in the world is packets. This Zoom call, what we're doing, you guys are all typing up. And we think there's a lot of great innovation that's coming in, a lot more to come to make networking much better. And the way we want to do it and how we want to do it is again with building great hardware, great software, APIs, applications, and operations along with that to really build a product and a service that's great for network engineers. Our goal is if we build really good products, hopefully your job gets easier and you also love your job. So, like I mentioned, we do this entirely vertically integrated. So you'll see some of our hardware here, and happy to have you guys come play with it a bit more. But the four kind of core piece of hardware that we have are security appliances, our switches, access points, and PDUs. What those enable are four distinct product lines that we have on the software side, and the hardware combination with it is our ISP product, our wired products, our Wi-Fi, and cellular products. And those are all enabled by our operations, which produce a lot of data that have full real-time API pipelines, using which we build software and models in-house to build applications that can make networking better. So how does Meter work in a vertically integrated way today? Customers might give us an address, might give us a bunch of floor plans, and then our job starts entirely after that, which is going everything from design to deployment to maintenance and really great software for network engineers to be able to do their jobs. Sunil's going to go through a bunch of the stack in detail with the architecture across the board, but the main thing you should take away is we believe to build great networking, you have to do it all together. Doing it separately is not something that we found can lead to incredibly great outcomes for customers. And so that's predominantly what we've spent a decade doing. Like Tom was mentioning, we've been way more public about who we are in the last year or two because of the fact that we believe we have great products that are fully integrated now across the entire stack. That's again everything from ISP, routing, switching, wireless, DNS security, SD-WAN, VPN, and applications to manage networks much easier. And again, it starts with hardware, and we build our own hardware, and we don't think you can build great software without building great hardware. One of the things we probably really disagree with the industry in the last 10 years is somehow everybody's come to agree that hardware is commoditized, and it's sort of become its own self-fulfilling prophecy where nobody's really spending a lot of time making great hardware. But our viewpoint is with great hardware, you can enable much better software. And that kind of fortuitous loop starts with software helping make hardware better and over again. So I'll walk through a bit about how it works. When a customer comes to Meter, that might be directly to us or through our incredible set of partners that we work with everywhere. Um, Starts with day zero. One of the first things is obviously the network design part and network configuration. Again, Sunil will go through a little bit about what our architecture enables, both on design and configuration. But some of the tactical things are, A lot of folks might already have had legacy networks that they've been investing in for a long time. We have a buyback program where we'll actually buy out existing hardware that customers have, so there's no sunk costs. And I'll go through that a little bit more in it. After that, we have ISP procurement and installation built in. So here we've taken a software approach. Our product is called Meter Connect that makes it easy to find which ISPs are available and at what price. Think of it as Kayak or Expedia, but for ISPs. And our viewpoint was that it's interesting that you can buy everything on the internet except the internet itself, and we want to fix that about 5 years ago. And after that is the network design part that we work closely with our partners and networking teams and customers to really think about it holistically across the entire footprint they might have and other things that they connect to. Might be data centers, might be POPs, anything like that. Then on day one, we're working closely on the installation, configuration testing, and onboarding. And Sunil is going to demo some of this stuff on what onboarding even looks like with great integrated software end to end. But here too, we've taken a full software approach where the installation partners that we work with, channel partners that we work with, they have custom applications. Those APIs are built all the way back in. Our warehouses run on applications that we build that again, full have APIs that are configured all the way up in the same stack. But keeping that tight loop between installation and validation, part of deployment, something we believe is really important to get networking right. What we've seen is if you do that day one part really well, a lot of times you avoid mistakes that'll bite you 6 months, year, 12 months from now. After that is maintenance and actually supporting these networks and how we think about network management. Fundamentally, the viewpoint we have here and one of the core tenets we've had to drive starting Meter a decade ago is that we believe there should be much better software for networking, way better than what was available. And we think these products should be beautiful. And when I say beauty, it isn't just pixels, but how they work, how they function with the user experiences. And our viewpoint's entirely on building automation, multi-site management, lifecycle, and a co-managed platform is really to think about our partners and our customers that are network engineers on how they can maintain great networks. Because ultimately, all of these customers are supporting larger organizations inside their own companies. So there's a bunch of things that come up usually. Again, this is a long-standing industry that's been around for a long time. We're only a decade old, so when we go present to folks and talk to folks, there's usually some questions that come up that I wanted to address first. First, who are your customers? That's a valid question to ask. Our customers are in few complicated buckets that I put here. I don't know if that's kind of mirrored there a little bit, but we have the largest group of Montessori schools that runs on Meter. There's hundreds of schools at the same time. And I'm sure you all know how complicated school networks are, especially with kids kind of strapped in. Leading competitors to UPS and FedEx with millions of square feet of warehouses that are growing rapidly. Financial services firms that have immense security and compliance requirements. The world's largest hedge fund like Bridgewater runs on Meter, for example. And then a lot of public companies and fast-growing firms with really strong needs for performance, reliability, security, and compliance. And our value that we want to deliver to these customers and what we do is that end-to-end aspect of it to make networking much easier for these teams today. The second thing is why switch to Meter? Again, a lot of folks have legacy networks that they're thinking about, that they've invested in, that they already work with. We think it kind of comes down to three main points that we see customers where it resonates. It's product, it's process, it's pricing. On the product side, because we're able to do vertically integrated networks, our incentives are much aligned with customers. We are not looking to sell a box of hardware for a margin to our customers. We want to sell great networks. You'll hear me repeat this a few times, but the main point is we sell networking. We don't just sell any piece of software, any piece of hardware. But with these products that are fully integrated, it really does make our customers, again, we're focused on the networking teams, their jobs easier because they're integrated products across the entire stack. After that, it's the process. Having a single way to do everything from ISP procurement, design, deployment, management, and installation together with a service and a product that's built for that, it's something that resonates a lot with customers. And lastly, it's pricing. Um, we have a really interesting model that we started about 10 years ago, which is we take on the capital risk entirely ourselves for the hardware. We never charge for the hardware. That's including when we do upgrades, because new hardware might come out because of IEEE standards that change. We invent new things on hardware. We have breakthroughs, any reason it might be. And that coupled with buying out existing legacy networks is something that's been very compelling. So product, process, and pricing are the three reasons we see. And not every customer hits all three, but it's some combination of those things for customers today. This other question is, how does your quality stack up? We think about this a lot. One thing you'll see us really care about as you get to know us is every detail matters to us. But that's also coupled with how we think about releases and how we think about building hardware and software. You're never going to hear us say world's first for anything. We don't intend to be at all. We just want to build great products. And again, the incentives here matter on vertical integration. Our customers are happy and continue to be with us and pay us if our products and services work really well. We are not selling a bunch of hardware and then washing our hands away. So what that enables us to do is really build a full unified operating system that Sunil will talk about in a second. Go through every part of the API stack as well that's fully integrated. And because we're thinking about not just building hardware and software, but how it's deployed and maintained as well, that day zero, day one, full life cycle is something that we're thinking about constantly every single day. That enables us to do really interesting things because incentives are aligned with customers and we know the pain of actually having to maintain these networks. The other question that comes up is, are you fit for only greenfield deployments? Like I mentioned, we buy out existing hardware that customers have. We have a buyback program. About a third of what we do today is existing legacy environments from all the folks you kind of think of that we buy out. And that's growing rapidly. If I had to anticipate over the next year or two, it's going to be a majority of what we do will be brownfield deployments where customers are moving away from legacy networks to meter. And really our goal here is to build infrastructure for the most ambitious companies in the world. And that's across offices, life sciences labs, schools, retail, warehouses, and manufacturing. And what we find constantly is networking is the linchpin to everything else they're doing. It might be in a school, they have some program where kids are learning. It might be in a warehouse where there's automation or robotics. But fundamentally, we really think about the fact that we are providing great products and services that enable other things for them to do. And because we'll buy out all the existing hardware, our process is also learning about how that's set up and feeding that back into our own design and configuration when meter networks are deployed in these spaces. Again, we sell the entire network, full end-to-end to our customers. The other question is, can I only purchase meter with a monthly subscription? The main point here is we take on the capital risk. There's no capital risk for the hardware ever for our customers and our partners. After that, we offer both operating model and a capital lease model. We have customers that are owned by PE firms where if it's full operating model hits their EBITDA and that's no good. So we offer both, but with both, the fundamental tenet is there's no cost for hardware ever. We do that. The last question I'll kind of cover is, I'm a network engineer. Are you taking my job? And the answer is no, we're not. The main reason we started is precisely because we're network engineers. We want there to be great products for networking. But the other things we're also seeing is I'm looking around the room, a lot of people are old like me, and there's not that many new folks that are coming in to the networking industry. I know, Dakota, you covered this a little bit as well. Um, what we're seeing is it used to be that in a company, there was one IT or networking person for every 75 to 100 people. Today, we're seeing that on average be 250 to 300. The number of applications, the number of devices, the number of customers on a network is growing dramatically, but IT and networking teams are not. And we have a dearth of talent that's coming in. So we think of networking teams as these Archimedes levers to their businesses, right? Networking enables everything that happens. Hopefully, we're doing that for networking teams by building much better hardware and software. Again, we truly think networking hardware and software can be beautiful. And it's been a while we think that's happened in networking. And actually doing that end to end. Our hope, again, is to make your jobs easier, you to love your job. It's one of the main reasons we started Meter, is to build these products that are much, much, much better. And think about what this next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of networking look like.
One last small future.
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of selling scenarios,
Yep.
is Meter finding where the customer or the prospect, we want to use your hardware, but not your software yet? Is there?
We don't do that.
All right.
We sell entire networking end to end. We don't sell it piece by piece.
Good to know. That's helpful.
Yeah, we have super clarity on that. Other questions?
Is that with the sales cycle as a extended? What kind of sales cycle is that?
So it depends on the industry and depends on the size. For the largest companies, obviously, that have tens of millions of square feet and thousands of locations, sales cycles are long no matter what. They're 6 to 12 months because of procurement, vendor management offices, legal, finance, other things. But generally, we see really fast sales cycles where customers know they need a new networking solution. And because we have a buyback program that makes it easier to get off legacy equipment, the situation usually is a networking team or IT team probably just spent a bunch of money. And then if they want to go back to their finance team saying, hey, there's this new thing I want to try, they're going to say, what happened to the thing that we just spent money on last year? And because we're building for the IT and networking teams, we understand that it's not just their decision. They have to go convince procurement, finance, vendor offices, other things. So what we've seen is coupled with our having zero capital risk and a buyback program and products that are much better for the outcomes the business has, sales cycles have been much different than what normally your mental model might be.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, Denise Donahue. Since you brought up the "Are you going to take my job?" question, and many of our viewers are network engineers, how do you then integrate with existing network teams?
Yeah, it's by building great software. Again, thinking about, and we'll demo some of this stuff live in a few minutes on how we think about building software. But we want to think about networking teams' workflows, what other products they're having to integrate with from security and APIs and cloud and direct connects, all these different things, and building our own products from the ground up, like Command that I'll demo at the end, that hopefully make networking much easier for networking teams. But it all comes down to how we build our software with keeping the hardware in mind.
So are you training them to use your software as management, troubleshooting,
That's
et
right.
cetera, for their own networks?
That's right.
Are you a channel? Do you sell through the channel
Yeah.
or direct at the moment?
We sell through the channel and we sell direct. We work with all types of channel partners from VARs to resellers, TSDs. Channel is something that's very important for us.
Okay, and the second question is, do you have, can you sell globally, or is it only certain territories? Do you sell into Europe and Asia Pac and also the Americas, or is it only certain global regions at the moment?
Great question. That's probably where we're not a good fit today. If you have, 15 different locations in 5 different continents, we only sell in North America, US, Canada, and Europe right now. We just started in UK. We are going to be expanding to APAC and other regions over 2025, but that's not where we serve customers today.
Got it. Thank you.
Another question if I could.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Bob McCouch. I work with the head. So I understand not separating your software from your hardware. Very understandable. How about if a customer has a specific vendor that they've selected for, say, a firewall, right? Like, do you guys insist that you are the full stack at a location, or could a customer substitute in, a Palo Alto or Cisco firewall, or something like if they've got another sort of strategic vendor, is that something you work with, or are you like an all or nothing, like we're the whole network stack for a location?
Our preference is all of it stays together,
Mm-hmm.
but we do work with other hardware that might be on ingress or egress,
Okay.
because they might already be hardware in their data centers that they're connecting to.
Right.
They might have, SD-WAN.
So I'm thinking it could be an SD-WAN or something like
Sure.
that would be hard to separate.
That's right.
Necessarily.
We
Right?
do that all the time
Okay.
with all of our large customers that are spanned everywhere. Maybe I'll close by going through what is our philosophy, what is it that we're trying to do. We recognize that it by no means we're the first networking company at all. There's been dozens that have been around for decades, and industry got started 40, 45 years ago. But by building really great hardware, really great software, and combining that with operations and applications, we're hoping to be the last networking company any of you need and build that for decades to come.